So you're thinking about upgrading to the Mavic 3. Is it worth it, or should you wait for the bugs to get ironed out? Stick around and find out. Hey, what's up everybody? Welcome to Adventure FPV. My name is Lee. If you're new to the channel, welcome. So today's going to be a little bit different. Maybe it's going to be Adventure FPV Plus, because we're not talking about first-person view drones. We're talking about the new DJI Mavic 3. So many of my subscribers know that I've been flying GPS camera drones since 2013, but just started flying FPV this year. So I use the GPS camera drones for my business, Top Shots Media, and we do real estate, advertising, surveying, and construction, things like that. So I have not had an upgrade to my GPS camera drone since the Mavic 2 came out about 2.5 years ago. So when the Mavic 3 was announced, I was super excited because I wanted to upgrade the image quality a little bit and be able to provide a higher quality product to my clients. So a little disclaimer, I purchased the Mavic 3 with my own money. This was not sent to me like a lot of other channels out there. This is something I purchased that I'm going to use for business. So this is going to be my unbiased first impressions. This is not a review. There's tons of really in-depth reviews out there on this product already. I want to tell you what I thought about this product within the first 24 hours of opening the box. So let's start with the good. The image quality on this camera is amazing. I've mostly been filming in 5.1K. I've done a little bit in 4K, but like I said, I've only had it for about 24 hours, so I've just done some local testing here outside to kind of get some first impressions. The image quality is on point. And speaking of that, my favorite part of it is the D-Log setting on this camera. You can recover so much of the information from this D-Log flat profile. You can really kind of crush down the blacks, extend those highlights, gives you a lot in the mid-range where you can adjust, and then you can also really pop the color quite a bit. So I'm very impressed with that. The actual photography is great too. The photos are turning out really, really nice. Like I said, I haven't had a chance to play around with it too much since I've only had it for 24 hours, and this is just a first impression video. But yeah, the image quality is definitely better than the Mavic 2 Pro on both the video and the photo. 100%, I can say that. Another thing I really, really like about this is the optical zoom. So there are two cameras on this drone. One is your standard wide angle lens and the other one is an optical zoom. It is a 7x optical zoom. You have to use this Explorer mode on the app, and then you can zoom in 2x, 4x, 7x, whatever. Well, the only one that's truly optical and gives you a real true image in that resolution is the 7x zoom. And it's really cool, honestly, it really is. I wish you could optically adjust between 1x and 7x on the zoom, but as of right now you can't. I don't know if you ever will. I don't know if the camera's even made for that, but just the 7x alone is amazing. I took some shots where I was flying right above my house, and Denver is about 14-15 miles away from where I live. And typically when I fly my GPS camera drones and I'm kind of panning around just doing some test flights, Denver is about this big out on the horizon. And I was able to use this 7x zoom and I felt like I was right there. I could see traffic on a highway I've never been able to see before, just flying right above my house. So really cool. Now the image quality is not as good as the Micro Four Thirds lens on this, but it is pretty good, and I think it's going to come up with some really unique shots where you get parallaxing and you're seeing these different layers in the hills and the rolling landscape. It's really nice. Another benefit I've noticed about this drone is the speed. It is noticeably faster, especially when you are taking off or when you're landing. There's definitely a speed increase that is noticeable, and that is nice. And obviously another great feature is the extended flight time of this. DJI claims about 46 minutes. Like I said, I've only had it about 24 hours. And I can tell you this, that I've flown it probably 6 times, and I've never got down to, I usually land at about 25% battery, 21% battery, just to keep my battery safe. And yeah, I've never even got close to that after flying for 30 minutes. I was flying around and literally came back because I had something else to do or somewhere else to go, so I didn't even deplete the battery. So that is awesome. It's gonna allow me to get more time in the air and hopefully spend less money on batteries because I don't need as many to fly. Something else I've noticed about the codec they're using when editing this log footage is it seems like they've done something different with it, because it is amazing. It is not laggy. I can make edits on the fly and playback, and my computer handles it. I'm using an iMac with Final Cut Pro. It's probably about a 1.5-year old computer, but it's pretty beefy. But I had problems with the Mavic 2 from time to time where I'd pull it in and it's just stuttering and having a hard time working its way through that footage, so they must have done something different with this codec because it's working great. All right, now let's talk about the bad. So these are the reasons you might want to wait until 2022 when the new firmware update comes out, because it sounds like a lot of my complaints that I have with this drone right now are going to be fixed through a firmware, so DJI says. So let's talk about that. So first of all, the DJI Fly app is very limited. If you're coming from the DJI Go 4 app, it's gonna be a big difference. I mean, it just feels like it's very, very watered down, like it's a beta version of this app. For me personally, like I said, I've never flown the Air 2S or used any other drone that would use this application. I've always used the Go 4 app, and I like it. It's great, but the new one just seems really watered down, and hopefully that's going to change with future firmware updates. So not only is the application on your phone different, but the functionality that is currently available to the Mavic 3 is super limited. There's none of the intelligent flight modes. For instance, I like to use a orbit when I'm doing like real estate. I will fly the Mavic 2 Pro over my location, lock it with GPS, back up, and then I can keep that solid orbit. I use that all the time, and it is currently not available in the Mavic 3. They say it's going to be in January, but as of today, it's not. So if you're looking to replace your Mavic 2 right now, today, you're not gonna do it. This drone is only really able to be flown manually. That's it. So there's no little modes that are gonna help you out or little tricks. So just keep that in mind. Waypoints are not available and other functions. So I just bought the drone and an extra battery. I did not buy the Fly More combo. And the reason why is because I think it's overpriced. I always think it's overpriced because I don't care about that bag that DJI has. I don't want it. I want my own bag. So I don't want to pay for that. Another thing I don't care for in that kit are the ND filters. They are $179 for ND filters, which to me is insane. That price is way too high. So I'm gonna wait for a third party to start releasing their ND filters on Amazon and other marketplaces, and I'm gonna buy that. So speaking of not buying the Fly More combo, one thing you don't get anymore when you just buy a drone is a way to charge the battery by itself. You have to have the battery plugged into the drone and plug the drone in order to charge the battery. And I think that's a great feature, but it should really be in addition to an external charger, because I don't want to have to land the drone to charge it. I want to be able to swap batteries, keep flying, throw another battery on and let it charge. So that is one advantage of buying the Fly More combo, is it does come with a 3-bank battery charger. But it's $89. Again, I could buy it and still save money by not buying the Fly More combo, but I think it's just kind of it's a little bit ridiculous that you have to buy an external charger to charge your batteries. Okay, so we talked about the zoom lens and how I really liked it, but there are some things I do not like about it. As of right now in the app with the firmware that's on it, you can only run this in auto mode. There's nothing you can do to change the ISO or the shutter speed or the white balance. Everything's locked into auto and you get what you get. So I think this is gonna change in a firmware update, so I'm not gonna talk about it too much, but keep that in mind if you're looking to buy it today and you're looking to use that zoom lens in a very customizable way. You're not going to. All right, so one more thing I did notice is when I was flying into the sun, I was at just the right angle. I was actually getting shadows from the blade, from the propellers on the lens. And I can't say that I've really ever noticed that on the Mavic 2. Maybe it was there and it wasn't as noticeable, but the arms are longer on the Mavic 3 and so are the propellers. So I can see why that could be an issue, but I noticed it on my first flight. I flew it, came back, looked at the footage, I was like, ugh, that's not good. I mean, that could really ruin a shot for somebody. So keep that in mind. That could be an issue if you're flying at just the right angle at the right time of day. You might be getting some of your propellers onto your lens, which is not a good look. All right, so the last downside I want to talk about is the V1 Smart Controller. This currently does not work with the Mavic 3, which is a huge disappointment because, like I said, I do this professionally. I have a Mavic 2 Pro and a Mavic 2 Zoom. This controls both of them. I can also swap batteries between those quads. So as a business owner, it's nice to have that redundancy. This does not work. Now, DJI did post something in a forum. They said, you know, as of now or something, or it's not working yet, but I don't know, because they have a new smart controller out now, and the new smart controller, according to DJI's website, only works with the Mavic 3. So that's also a disappointment. Why am I gonna buy that if it doesn't control all of my drones? That's really silly. Hopefully all of these issues get resolved in January, and all of the things I'm complaining about are just gonna be pointless. Honestly, I know that the flight modes are coming and things like that, so I'm not really complaining about that as of right now, other than the fact that they should have just put it out at the release of the quad. But they're kind of notorious for that. Even when I bought the Mavic 2, waypoints weren't available. So they released it later. So if they fix this and they add the flight modes into the DJI Fly app, it's a no-brainer. This drone is much better than the Mavic 2 Pro. I don't own an Air 2S, so I can't really speak to that, but I didn't like the fact that I didn't have an adjustable aperture on the Air 2S. If you are interested in buying a Mavic 3, I have a link down in the description. It is an affiliate link. It's an easy way to help the channel. It doesn't cost you anything, but it does give me a small kickback, and that would be greatly appreciated. Thank you guys for taking the time to watch the video, and we'll see you in the next one.